Today I will be reporting on the endangered Southeast Asian language Dupaningan Agta. To begin, I am going to describe Dupaningan Agta. All Dupaningan words begin and end with a consonant. A glottal stop is inserted into any words that begin or end with a vowel. One important structural feature of Dupaningan Agta is the process of nasal substitution. Nasal substitution is found in roots that begin with P, T, K, and B. The finer velar nasal merges with the first consonant of the root and forms a nasal at the point of speaking with the original consonant. Some examples of this would be man tar eptep, which means walk along the edge of the river, or mang tarod, which means truth. Dupaningan Agta is an Austronesian language spoken in northeast Luzon in the Philippines. Only about 1,400 nomadic hunter-gatherers speak this language and is considered endangered because children are not being taught how to speak it. It is spoken across about 35 communities made up of 1 to 70 nuclear households throughout the northeast coast of Luzon. In some of these critically endangered Dupaningan Agta communities, the language's youngest speakers are only about 30 years old. Due to the fact that this language is so spread out in this region, there is a variety of dialects. Broadly speaking, Dupaningan is divided between the north and south. However, no distinct boundaries exist between the two. Now I'm going to talk about social circumstances. Most Dupaningan Agtas are poor and uneducated. Additionally, most Dupaningan Agta speakers are rattan gatherers because the government prohibits non-Agta from gathering it. Agtas are often discriminated against due to their race, culture, and lack of money. Dupaningan Agta is most prominent in Bolos Point, an isolated community along the Pacific coast. Bolos Point is only accessible by boat. It is made up of both Agtas and non-Agtas who tend to self-segregate. There are 2 churches along with a few small stores in this community. Bolos Point has a vibrant language community, and even children speak Dupaningan Agta here. Despite its prominence in Bolos Point, Dupaningan Agta is not taught to children in 5 of its 35 communities. One threat to Dupaningan's vitality is the language of Ilocano, which all Dupaningan speakers are bilingual in. It has been overtaken by Ilocano in many of these communities. Many of these children will respond to their parents in Ilocano, even when spoken to in Dupaningan. Many speakers switch freely between Dupaningan and Ilocano, but tend to use Dupaningan less frequently, going periods of time without using it. Additionally, Dupaningan is more prominent in isolated communities, so it lacks the ability to spread. Dupaningan is expected to be spoken by only a few hundred within the next couple of years and is set to die out within the next few generations, with only a few words surviving. A language program was put in place by the Summer Institute of Linguistic Missionaries in Bolos Point, where Dupaningan Agta is most commonly used. In these public schools, missionaries teach students to read and write. Although most children do not attend these schools, those who do are able to teach it to the rest of the community. Additionally, due to the presence of an Agta church in this community, Dupaningan is the language used in services. Although these missionaries are present, there seems to be a lack of policies and programs established to allow Dupaningan Agta to last. There is no strong governmental force or schooling system in these impoverished regions, so children do not get the chance to learn this language. I would argue that although I do believe language preservation is important, language loss is an inevitable byproduct of socioeconomic development in an era of globalizing nation-states. Dupaningan Agta exists in impoverished communities where programs and education systems are largely non-existent. In order for this language to flourish again, these 2 programs would need to be present. Additionally, in these communities, parents do not see the fact that their children do not speak this language or can speak it but choose not to as a threat to the preservation of the language. So unfortunately for these communities, the loss of Dupaningan Agta seems inevitable.